Powered by the Montana Television Network. This is the 5:30 News on Q2, Montana's news leader.
Good evening and thanks for joining us tonight. I'm Jay Cohn.
And I'm Jeanelle Slade. A boisterous roar from Mother Nature this afternoon reminds us of Montana's unpredictable nature.
Hail, heavy rain, and deafening thunder. Just a taste today of what's to come as thunderstorm season intensifies.
Watches this morning's a lot of information pouring from the Q2 Weather Center this afternoon. Chief Forecaster Bob McGuire joining us now with the latest.
Wow, interesting day today. We've had a lot of severe thunderstorms. Let me start off and show you how much rain we had in the Billings area. Look at that. That's the correct number, 1.54 inches since midnight. And by the way, that sets a new daily record for us. Now, some of the other places that picked up a lot of rain, 6 miles southeast of Columbus had 3.14 inches of rain. Joliet had over 3 inches. Reed Point had 165. You can see Red Lodge had 1.59, and other places like Shepherd had 1.08 inches of rain. Now, here's a low pressure cell that caused all that. Watch what this is going to do tonight. It's going to continue to slowly spin its way in towards northeastern Yellowstone County, producing more rain there and also in southeastern Montana. Then eventually by later tonight and tomorrow, that whole thing kicks out of the area and moves into Canada, and we're looking at mostly sunny skies moving in just in time for tomorrow and the rest of the holiday weekend. We still have some severe thunderstorms to talk about. We'll have more of that coming your way in a few more minutes.
All right, thank you, Bob.
Well, the city of Laurel today declared a state of emergency due to flooding. Heavy rains in the last 24 hours, coupled with the melting snowpack, resulted in significant rise in the Yellowstone River.
Now we're joined by Q2's Connor Pregetzer, who has more for us on the flooding concerns in our region. Connor, what did you find out today?
That's right, Jay. We have seen quite a bit of rain in the last 24 hours, and with more in the forecast, water is starting to pile up. In addition to this afternoon's heavy rain, there was over an inch of rain in Billings yesterday and over 3 inches reported in Big Timber. Now that rain flows into the Yellowstone River Basin and towards our area. As evidenced by the news out of Laurel today, the rising waters are causing rising flood concerns for our portion of the state. Director of Yellowstone County Disaster and Emergency Services, Brad Shoemaker, says that this heavy rain combined with the forecast for the next couple days could have area tributaries running high heading into the long weekend.
So the short-term outlook is for more rain over the course of the next 24, 36 hours, and then we're actually looking at a relatively big warm-up for the rest of the week that could lead to more snowmelt at higher elevations. The combination of those two is what kind of gives us concern for levels of the river and flooding, because the two of them together could lead to quite a rise in the river. The impacts of that, we would expect some low-lying fields to be inundated with water, and then with the widespread rain, there's not a lot of places for that to drain to. So we would expect that water would stand and possibly back up in some of those low-lying areas.
Now, Brad says that if you see any flooding, to call your local extension, and they will report it to the appropriate authorities. And as always, if you come across any flooded roadways of an uncertain depth, do not attempt to drive across them. Back to Jeanelle.
All right, thanks so much, Connor. Lockwood schools are now on a soft lockdown this week with substantial law enforcement on campus. This following a series of rumors about a possible threat to Eileen Johnson Middle School. Lockwood Superintendent Tobin Navazio says the Yellowstone County Sheriff's Office is investigating. Now, we just spoke with Captain Bill Michaelis with the Yellowstone County Sheriff's Department, who says an investigation has determined those were rumors and there is no threat. Now, 2 deputies will assist the school resource officer to assist with any further concerns. Earlier, Navazio said attendance is optional for Thursday, and if administrators will decide to hold its 8th grade promotion ceremony on Friday. Now, Michaelis says the decision on those issues and the soft lockdown are now up to the school administration. So again, both Lockwood schools went on soft lockdown today, which means the school is locked down, but teachers and students can move around the building.
A former chemist at the Billings water treatment plant now facing charges for allegedly contaminating water samples.
Q2's Asia Gore read through the charging documents to bring us more on this bizarre story.
Jay and Jeanelle, when the woman was confronted about spiking her coworkers' water samples, she couldn't explain her actions. Michelle Henderson made her initial appearance today in Yellowstone County Justice Court on 1 count of tampering with public records. Henderson was one of 3 chemists employed at the City of Billings water treatment plant in 2015. One chemist began experiencing failed water sample tests on a routine basis, which was abnormal. When Henderson took a week vacation, the samples did not fail. Supervisors then installed security cameras in the lab, which showed Henderson spiking the chemist's samples. When she was finally confronted about the contamination, Henderson had no explanation. Her alleged actions cost the city thousands of dollars to investigate and also cost the city its state certification that year. Jay and Jeanelle.
All right, thanks, Asia. Now Henderson is being held at the Yellowstone County Jail on $25,000 bond.
Interior Secretary Ryan Zinke speaking to an overflow crowd today at the Williston Basin Petroleum Conference in Bismarck. Zinke pointed out that nearly 10.6 million barrels of oil are produced each day in the United States, but he pointed out the industry trend is moving from offshore drilling to onshore. Zinke told the gathering today that energy is what drives the economy environmentally, economically, and morally. And he said he believes that's what's best for the country.
We have to, as Interior, be a better partner. We have to work with industry. Our regulation needs to include innovation, best science, best practices, and the regulatory framework should ensure greater safety, greater reliability, and better environmental stewardship.
Secretary Zinke also said it's time for a reorganization at the Interior Department, something he said hasn't happened in 150 years. He says they have to ensure the government moves out of the way and let industry make the investments that the energy world needs.
You can now find Montana in Virginia.
The submarine named after the treasure state, now about half complete in Virginia. It's scheduled to be launched in 2020, and today the USS Montana Committee presented an update on the submarine that will soon be among the most advanced in the world. It's a nuclear fast attack submarine complete with stealth capabilities designed to help out with surveillance and intelligence gathering operations.
The shipyard held a keel laying ceremony last week. The submarine will also bear a flag designed to show Montana's spirit.
Patriots around Montana have joined the USS Montana Committee and are committed to making sure the crew knows that when they go in harm's way, when they're on scene, unseen, in defense of our country, Montanans are with them.
And Woodson said hats and shirts are also being made to honor the new submarine.
You can learn more about the USS Montana by clicking this story at ktvq.com.
Still ahead on tonight's 5:30 News, we meet a Laurel man and woman who are meeting their heroes. Find out their superpowers next.
And in sports, Scott shows us which local athletes in every class could set records at this week's state track and field meets.
You're watching MTN News with Jay Cohn and Jeanelle Slade. Storm Tracker weather with Bob McGuire. And sports with Scott Green. This is the 5:30 News on Q2, Montana's news leader.